Hey everyone, in my last video I was talking about, in the mandate video, how government has bought this mandate, and I've talked to you several times on live feeds about this is a game of chess, not checkers, and I don't think a lot of people really get that. But here's my point in the whole issue. If we use Eric Fuller's numbers, who's the CEO of U.S. Express, he says that owner-operators or independents or whatever are running 500 extra miles a week, 450 to 500 miles a week. There's about 1 million of us out here that's in the category that he's putting us into. If you take that 500 miles times the millions, you come up with 500 million. It's just math, right? Okay, so now where does that take us? He believes this so much, he is spending $200 million to buy 1,400 new trucks. All the other big carriers are doing the same thing. Look it up. I can't blame him. Business is business. It's just sad when they buy the government to get what they want. But that's what they do, is buy the government. So, do you think that he's gambling? He's going to gamble $200 million on this? He's got the money and all these big companies to pay for focus groups to tell him this. But here's the real issue, and it's a perfect storm. Truckers News Stats says that we are 50,000 drivers short. That's just somewhere you can go look if you want to go look it up. Trucker News Stats. 50,000 drivers as of this year. It raises every year. They say it's going to go up to 100,000 in the next 5 years. Now, our game is find the numbers. Find the drivers. Where are we going to come up with the drivers? Okay, if the mandate... Okay, well, let me backtrack here. Now, if we take that 1 million independent truckers and deduct the extra 500 miles a week that Fuller says that they are running illegal, add that number up, we get 500 million. Let's divide that number into the average truck miles of 3,000 miles a week. We get 166,000 miles. That's a nice number, isn't it? 166,000 miles. Not, okay, that's doable. So, how many drivers is he going to need to pick that up? 1, 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000. Okay, so he's going to need new drivers plus the original short drivers, right? Add that all together, you get 216,000 drivers needed to fill the vacancy. Now, here's where it gets real fun, okay? Big business bought the mandate. Now, big business will run to the government again. And here's the plan. They're going to say, we need people to fill these trucks because the groceries aren't getting to market and everything else. Because there is going to be a problem. Okay, and all of this, rates are going to go up also, so that should make you feel good. Okay, so they're going to run to the government, and the progressives, I'm not going to call them names because we have progressives on both sides of the aisle, will say, all right, we can bring in drivers from other countries. We'll expedite the process for you. They'll give them work visas. Okay, I'll call a few names. They're going to run to the Democrats and say that. And then the Republican progressives are also going to say, gee, we can pass a health care act now because we'll have the Democrats and we'll make a deal. All right, I'm not either. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, so I can throw rocks. But I'm not trying to. But the Republicans always fall for this trick. They'll say the temporary aliens that come in will have a temporary visa. Nothing's ever temporary with government. You give something away, it never goes away. So they'll come in the country, they'll fill the trucks, they'll do a little more testing for automation. Who knows where it'll go? But the Republicans always fall for the trick. The government won't be able to bring in enough aliens fast enough. See, I look up and then I lose my spot where I'm reading. Sorry about that. So they'll loosen up the restrictions on the southern border, and they'll bring in Mexican drivers to come north. When the dust settles, the progressives will have a whole new voting bloc, because they've got to prop up the dying unions. Yes, the unions are in bad shape, guys. But at what price? I've driven in other countries, lots of different countries. It's terrifying, let me tell you. Highway fatalities will go up. So the mandate will be useless in that term also, because fatalities will go up. Then they'll have a whole new issue. They're going to want to talk about speed limits changes. Maybe they'll take us back to 55 again. I know you don't remember 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, but we sure used to have it. Okay, where will we park after the mandate for that? This is just deductive reasoning. You know, it's all I've done here. Just deductive reasoning. What happens on point B after you start with point A? And then you're going to go to C. And where's it going to fall? Now, Mo here might have a few other thoughts on the matter, because I'm not real good at this kind of stuff. So what do you say, Mo?
Well, I say that you're right as far as the government picking winners. I think a big way that they're going to pick winners is through government grants. There's not enough drivers to run this freight. So these driverless trucks really need to get on the road, because there's not enough people to drive them. So the government will give a grant, i.e. mine and your taxpayer money, to, I mean, it could go to all sorts of places. It could go to driverless trucks. It could go to rail to try and pick up extra freight, if that is an option for some of them. And it could actually go to trucking companies to do more training, to open up more facilities, to bring more people in for anything. Something that we talked about before is the fuel surcharge came from a government.
It was their plan in 1973 because of the Iranian oil embargo.
Okay, but in a sense, it came from something from the government, right?
Yeah.
So all this is going to do is pave the way for the government to give out money for certain things, and the e-logs they're enacting, that, you know, they're changing this law, right? As drivers, we should not want them to add this law or that law or that law, because every single law that's made has unintended consequences. If you do, anything that you do has unintended consequences. Whether it's meant well or not, it may do good on this end, but on the back end it's not. So whatever you're doing, what the government is going to end up picking a winner, and it's going to be whoever lines the politicians' pockets. Whether it's, you know, Amazon with their, is Amazon, right, with the driverless trucks, if they've been lining pockets, they're going to be the one that gets a grant. If it's been the ATA and all the people that donate to them that's been lining the pockets better, then they're going to get grants for more funding, more schooling, to open up more schools, to buy new trucks, for whatever they need. Mexico has ELDs on board. We have a cross-border trucking program that was supposed to only be a pilot program. It's now in full force. It's still going. And Americans pay 100% for their ELDs with our taxpayer money, even though Americans have to pay for their own. We, as the government, pay for that for people that live in Mexico. And we give them most of their trucks over there. So it's a matter of who's the government going to pick to fill this void that they're creating.
Because they pick the winners and losers in every game.
One way or another, they are going to pick the winners and losers. Yes.
I agree. There's a lot of other things that come in play with this. I mean, there could be some business opportunities for you and I. I've been told that I'm not going to be allowed to buy a bunch more trucks again. It's okay.
We're going to have another video talking about driver horror stories.
Yeah, that's a good
And it's
video.
going to be 100% true. All true stories. Stay tuned.
But anyway, this is a game of chess, not checkers. It's not about bitching about the mandate. That should have been bitched about long ago. You know, it wasn't done. The only way to handle this stuff, though, striking can't do us any good. It's voting. You have to vote. And what Mo was talking about was lobbyists. The ATA is a lobbyist group, and they buy the government off with their lobbying. The OIDA is a much smaller group. They don't get the money, they don't get the funds in. They do the best that they can, but it's never going to be enough because the person with the biggest money has the biggest mouth.
Mo used to spend time at the Capitol, and it's lobbying. That's what's there. It's lobby people. They set up an appointment. You talk to your senator. You talk to your representative. You're talking to whoever. If you have enough money, you'll get an appointment with them. If you don't, you hope to catch them in the hallway. That's how it works.
Yeah. Nobody wants to talk to you in the hallway. They're on the way to the bathroom.
The one, if you ain't got money, that's what people are trying to do, because that's all the time you're going to get with them.
Right. But anyway, this could be a whole lot more in depth. You can think about it. You might say it's kind of conspiracy theory. It might be conspiracy theory. It may never materialize. But then again, I kind of believe in conspiracy theory myself, because everything is a conspiracy or it's collusion. If me and you do it, we go to jail. You know, it's collusion. But they do it every day. It's okay. All right. We'll see you guys later. Carry on.